Hey, so you're thinking about doing business in a Chinese-speaking market? Then you absolutely need to hear this. We're going to break down one of the biggest and, frankly, most expensive mistakes that companies make, falling for the one China business myth.
It's the dream, right? To tap into that massive potential. It's a huge ambition for so many businesses. But here's the first question you've got to ask yourself. Which market are we really talking about? Because what looks like a single market from the outside is, in reality, a whole collection of incredibly distinct economies. We're talking different rules, different business cultures, different everything. And just lumping them all together, that isn't a small oversight. That's your first critical mistake. Okay, let's dive right into this and shatter this myth once and for all. This idea of a one-size-fits-all approach. It's not just a little inefficient. No, it can be a complete strategic failure that costs you big.
So right off the bat, this table just throws a huge wrench in the whole one market idea, doesn't it? You can see immediately that the language of business is all over the place. Sure, mainland China and Taiwan both use Mandarin, but look closer. The written script is totally different, and we'll get to why that's a huge deal in a second. Then you've got major hubs like Hong Kong and Singapore, where English is a primary language for business. This isn't just a fun fact, it's the first major clue that these places operate in fundamentally different ways.
So let's peel back that first layer, because beyond what people are saying, the first real wall you're going to hit, especially if you're in software or marketing, is the written script itself. It's really a tale of two completely different systems.
So you've basically got two major players. On one side, you have simplified Chinese. That's the modernized version they use in mainland China and Singapore. And on the other, you have traditional Chinese. These are the original, more complex characters, and they're the standard in places like Taiwan and Hong Kong. And let me be perfectly clear, they are not interchangeable at all.
This is such a perfect example. Just look at the word computer. If you say it out loud, it's the same. But look at it written down. The characters are obviously different. Submitting an official document in the wrong script, it's kind of like showing up to a black tie wedding in shorts and a t-shirt. You just don't do it.
And this is where it gets really serious. This goes way beyond style points and straight into legal compliance. Official accounting records in mainland China must be in simplified Chinese. In Taiwan, they must be in traditional. See, it's not a suggestion. Getting this wrong isn't a simple typo, it's a major regulatory failure.
Okay, let's peel back the next layer, because even if you nail the script, you've got a whole new problem, using the right words. And this is where your basic translation tools are going to fail you, every single time. You know, the best way to think about it is like American versus British English, but with way bigger consequences. We all know a truck in the States is a lorry in the UK. Now, just imagine that kind of mix-up, but for all the critical terms in your software, your marketing, your financial reports. Yeah, it gets messy fast. I mean, just look at this. It's wild. The word for taxi is completely different depending on if you're in Beijing, Taipei, or Hong Kong. If you're building a ride-sharing app and you use the wrong word, you're basically dead on arrival. Even a core tech term like software is different in Taiwan. Using the mainland term there just screams, hey, we're not from around here and we didn't do our homework. And this cuts right to the heart of your finances. An income statement has different names, sure, but the invoice example, this one is absolutely critical. In mainland China, what they call an invoice is a very specific government-issued tax document. It's a huge deal. But in Hong Kong, it's just a regular commercial invoice. Confusing those two isn't just awkward, it can land you in serious trouble.
Which brings us to the big one. The part that every business owner, every CFO really needs to understand. The money. We're not talking about small tweaks here. We're talking about fundamentally unique financial and tax systems.
Look, you can't just take your accounting software, add a language pack, and call it a day. It doesn't work like that. Mainland China has its own accounting standards. Hong Kong has its own. So do Taiwan and Singapore. Each one is a different rule book. A one-size-fits-all software package, it's just not going to cut it. And the taxes? Whoa, they are all over the map. You've got mainland China with a 13% VAT. And by the way, that's just the headline rate in a super complex, multi-tiered system. Then you have Singapore at 9% and Taiwan way down at 5%.
And then you have Hong Kong, 0%. That's right, no VAT, no GST, no sales tax, nothing. I mean, how much more different can you possibly get? Trying to use one tax system for all these markets is an absolute recipe for disaster.
So after all that, you might be thinking, okay, this is complicated. But don't worry, there is a right way to do this. What you need is a playbook. You need a strategy that gets that true localization is about adapting your entire business from the code to the accounting, not just translating a few words on a website. So here it is, your 4-step playbook. First, pinpoint your market. Don't just say China. Say Shanghai or Taipei. Be specific. Step 2, choose the right script. This is non-negotiable. Step 3, adapt your entire business vocabulary. That means talking to local experts to get critical terms like invoice right. And finally, step 4, comply with local regulations from day one. Build your systems for that specific market from the ground up.
So I'll leave you with this final thought, this one crucial question. Look at your own strategy and ask yourself, is your business truly localizing or are you just translating? Because the answer to that question is everything. It's the difference between success and failure. Thanks for tuning in.